On November 22nd, 2017, Disney and Pixar released the film Coco. Starring a young boy named Miguel, this original animated feature explored Mexican culture as viewers followed Miguel through the land of the dead to reunite with his great-great-grandfather and become a musician. The movie, with now iconic original songs and strong themes of family, instantly connected with audiences, with both critics and general audiences alike raving about Pixar's latest masterpiece. The film was touted as an emotional triumph, exploring the array of emotions tied to both life and death. One moment in the film that specifically gravitated the attention of audiences was one of the final moments of the film, just before the death of Mama Coco, where Miguel sings her father's song Remember Me to her. Miraculously, Mama Coco, whose life had been slowly draining away, remembered her father and sang along with Miguel, and was one of the greatest sequences in animation history. This is just one example of the great emotional sequences in Coco. Coco went on to gross over $800 million at the worldwide box office, becoming a global success for the Walt Disney Company. Disney struck gold with Coco and quickly began to integrate it into its destinations globally. Coco had a fairly large presence at Disney California Adventure from its get-go, with DCA being one of the first times Coco was featured in the parks through a live show. Titled A Musical Celebration of Coco, the show featured live performers and an impressive Miguel puppet to celebrate the music and culture represented in the film. Similarly, the Miguel puppet and an interactive skeleton experience debuted in the Mexico Pavilion in Epcot as the movie continued its growth. The film continued to be featured in other offerings such as the Disney Starlight Parade, which debuted in 2025, and an updated version of Mickey's PhilharMagic in numerous Disney parks globally. However, Coco deserved something bigger. It not only lent itself well to a larger attraction, but there was guest demand for it too. The film had become a modern classic, with its characters and music regularly featured in many divisions of the company. This all culminated in August 2024 at the Honda Center, when Disney made an extremely unexpected and long overdue announcement. Disney was finally building a Coco ride. Before we begin, I'd like to give some shoutouts to the people who found the keyword in the last video. I'd like to give a huge shoutout to Disney Montegari, Disney Villain 0256, Rick Pollen 4984, Slice of Random, Mr. Targ 88, AB Pose 5, Louis Q Draws, Firmstrand, the GJT 418, and Human 80E for getting the keyword in the last video discussing Avengers Infinity Defense and Stark Flight Lab. We got a new record of 10 people who found the keyword last time. Let's see if we can break the record this time. Find the keyword in this video for a shoutout in the next one. Additionally, Theme Park Passion is now on Instagram, so leave a follow at theme_park passion for behind the scenes content and updates on future videos on the channel. But now, let's get this party started. On May 18th, 1967, Disneyland officially opened Pirates of the Caribbean. Originally envisioned as a wax museum, the idea grew over time to become a fully fledged dark ride on the scale of something never attempted before. The attraction, dubbed the Cocktail Party attraction, was ambitious. Guests traveled through detailed environments and encountered a variety of audio animatronic figures depicting a town getting raided by pirates. The concept of a cocktail party attraction was simple and effective. These attractions, like Pirates of the Caribbean, featured dense environments where guests would have the option to view different scenarios and then move on to the next one, like a cocktail party. The attraction philosophy was timeless, with guests praising the detail and re-rideability of the attraction. Every time you rode, you would notice something new. That was what made the ride work so well, maybe even too well. When Walt Disney World opened on October 1st, 1971, Pirates of the Caribbean was intentionally absent from the park's lineup. Imagineering thought that those in Florida were too familiar with the Caribbean, so it would be pointless to clone the attraction for Florida. Instead, designing a western version of the attraction to be built as a future attraction, dubbed the Western River Expedition. This was not the case, and at their fan demand, a smaller version of Pirates of the Caribbean was quickly constructed for the Magic Kingdom, opening in December 1973, just 2 years after the park originally opened. The construction of the Florida version of the attraction proved just how popular this ride was and its design philosophy was as well, leading to future iterations in Japan, Paris, and Shanghai, with Shanghai taking an entirely new spin on the now iconic attraction. So, why did I discuss Pirates of the Caribbean, its history, and its design philosophy when this video is about Coco? Well, let's take a listen to what Josh D'Amaro had to say about this new Coco ride.
Imagineers drew inspiration for this attraction from classics like the Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean. You're going to see, you'll hear, you'll feel Miguel's journey to the land of the dead as you travel through colorful, expansive seas.
So this Coco attraction will be harkening back to the design philosophy of both Pirates of the Caribbean and the Haunted Mansion with their densely populated and detailed environments, and that's just so exciting. A Disney dark ride can go either one of two routes. The first is the book report style. In this style of dark ride, riders relive their favorite moments from the source material. Think the Fantasyland dark rides. You sit down in a ride vehicle and enjoy a retelling of said narrative. The other style of dark ride is the narrative type, where guests experience an original story based on the source material or an original concept. For this, think Rise of the Resistance or Frozen Ever After. Both of these dark rides have their own strengths and weaknesses, and both represent the fight between passive and active storytelling. In my opinion, there's a place in this industry for both passive and active attractions. Certain attractions suit themselves better to action-packed adventures where you get to save the day, while others lend themselves to more relaxing experiences where you can be immersed in a favorite story. When looking at this Coco attraction, it's pretty clear that this is going to be a more passive, book report style attraction, and I feel that's the best decision for this attraction. Disney parks excel at retelling some of their more epic stories into these book report style attractions. Grand scenes and stories can impact the guests much more emotionally when they're fully immersed into the environment rather than experiencing it on a screen. Coco, in my opinion, is an epic story of grand proportions. The story doesn't necessarily suit itself to a let's go on an adventure into the land of the dead kind of story. I feel it suits itself more to a retelling of the movie's narrative, told through large-scale show scenes and animatronic figures. Anna and Elsa's Frozen Journey from Tokyo Disney Sea, which is the attraction that you're seeing on your screen right now, is an example of how I hope Disney executes this Coco attraction. And speaking of animatronics, let's discuss those. Josh D'Amaro discussed the animatronic figures for this attraction during its announcement at D23, saying that these were going to be highly advanced figures like we've never seen before. The skeleton characters in Coco are extremely animated, with each part of their body being able to move freely from each other. So recreating that aspect in real life is most definitely going to be a challenge, but it seems that Walt Disney Imagineering is up to the task here. So, Coco is going to be a boat ride, clearly, but this decision, in my opinion, means much more for the scale of this attraction than you may have initially realized. Boat rides are some of the best methods to tell stories in themed entertainment. There's nothing that's out of the guest sightline, so there always has to be something to see from all angles. Additionally, these ride systems move slowly through their scenes, giving guests more time to take in their environments and encouraging Imagineers to develop the scenes to be even more detailed and engaging, prompting repeat rides. Drops and lift hills can be used to transition from one scene to another to add suspense if the narrative calls for it, which can help with the attraction if it starts to feel a bit repetitive. With this decision to make Coco a seemingly basic boat ride, I feel this ride is lending itself to become a modern Disney classic. Coco is a timeless story that appeals to every generation, so setting it on a timeless ride system that every generation can enjoy just seems like a natural fit. I picture this attraction as one where guests drop into the land of the dead and are fully surrounded by vignettes on either side as they explore the narrative of the movie. The iconic music from the movie can guide guests through the narrative of the film, with show scenes based on songs like Remember Me, Poco Loco, or Proud Corazon, possibly serving as major show scenes and highlights this attraction. The concept art seemingly portrays Poco Loco as a massive show scene filled with color and life, something ironic given that everybody except Miguel in this show scene is actually dead. I really do think that this can become an iconic attraction if executed correctly, an attraction that harkens back to the roots of the company with a simple ride system navigating through detailed environments seems like a classic in the making to me, combined with an empowering narrative, and I see a hit on Disney's hands. In December 2024, Disney debuted the Disney Treasure, the second of their Wish class of ships. The Treasure, themed to adventure, featured a variety of experiences specifically catered to that theme, such as Skipper Society, Tale of Moana, and most relevant for here, Plaza de Coco. Plaza de Coco is an immersive dining experience themed to Coco and gives us a pretty good idea for what we can expect when it comes to the theming, atmosphere, and overall emotion for this Coco attraction. I got to experience this restaurant in July 2025 and it was phenomenal. Of course, the food was great, but the entertainment and theming was what stole the show here. Disney really showed no mercy when it came to capitalizing on the emotional beats of the film. Although the show takes place after the events of the film, the second night of the performance centers around Miguel reuniting with his dead family in a heartwarming celebration. This night of the performance is filled with empowering messages and emotional moments and showed me the ability that Imagineering has to create a faithful Coco experience. Additionally, this venue gives us a really good idea as to how Imagineering can execute a permanent Coco themed experience. Of course, the ride won't have live singers and dancers along the ride path, but the atmosphere and theming could be similar in nature and its philosophy. I was always excited for this Coco ride, but after having had first-hand experience with the first major permanent Coco experience in Disney Experiences, I can say that I have full faith in this project. This show seriously brought me to tears, and I have no doubt this ride will too. In terms of progress on the attraction, it's believed that construction is only just beginning, with basic site preparation having just begun during the end of 2025. The attraction will be located in an expanded Pixar Pier, seemingly behind Inside Out Emotional Whirlwind, which would expand the footprint of Pixar Pier significantly. This could help alleviate crowds from Toy Story Mania, the only other dark ride in Pixar Pier. California Adventure is in need of some more e-ticket family attractions. Attractions with no height requirements that are must-dos aren't very common in this park, with the only examples I can think of being Toy Story Mania and Web Slingers, both of which being shooting-based attractions which may not appeal to a significantly younger crowd or a significantly older crowd. Coco is seemingly the first attraction in the park's lineup that not only will offer an extremely high quality and rich experience, but doing so whilst being as accessible as possible. Boat rides are tremendous because of their accessibility. Almost any guest can experience them, whether an infant, elderly, teenager, parent, or even somebody with mobility issues. These attractions are inclusive and welcoming, but they're not always the biggest and most exciting rides. Those tiers of attractions are often reserved for more of the intense attractions like Incredicoaster or Radiator Springs Racers. Although fantastic attractions, they incorporate physical thrill in their layouts, restricting some guests from experiencing them. Other attractions in the park like The Little Mermaid or Monsters Inc. are widely accessible, however they're not e-ticket attractions. They're really solid dark rides, but they're not big attractions that can sell tickets. They're just there to pad out guest days. Coco, however, is seemingly the first time that California Adventure has gotten a major attraction that's widely accessible, and that's just so exciting. The park's in need of a majorly accessible and high-capacity e-ticket dark ride, and I feel that Coco is going to fill in that gap excellently. Coco is going to do a great job filling in a specified gap within the park's lineup. A high-capacity, emotional boat ride that slowly traverses through grand show scenes with iconic music has the potential to be a classic dark ride. And with a property like Coco, I can see that happening. I really want to thank you for watching this video. This was the final video in the Disney California Adventure series on this channel, which has been crazy for this channel. We've seen so much growth from this series, and from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Leave a comment with the keyword guitar for a shout out in the next video. With that, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all real soon.